As the echoes of the 2023 general election continue to in the National Assembly, the race to the top table is frantic and frenetic. They say it is the quest to be the first amongst equals, but what is unequal is the number behind each claim. In Kogi, the race to Lugard House has become a steep climb. A zone says, wait for your time, while another says, it is our time. It is sure that what is sure, of course, is that it's time for political update on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Fisel Gunfi. Stand by as we go through the labyrinth, which is Nigeria's political scene, together. President Muhammadu Buhari has attributed the victory achieved by the All Progressive Congress in the 2023 elections to hard work, while overconfidence was the main reason why the opposition lost. The president stated this while granting audience to members of the Progressive Governors Forum on the Solidarity visit to the State House.
President Muhammadu Buhari, while reflecting on the conduct of the 2023 elections, told the governors that while the opposition parties were already telling their foreign backers that they will defeat the APC, the governing party blended confidence with caution, worked hard and won. As he puts it, now their overconfidence is creating more problems for them than anyone else, as they are finding it hard to convince those who supported them from outside why they are unable to beat the APC. He attributed the loss of the opposition parties to a combination of overconfidence, complacency, and bad tactical moves. Responding to an issue raised by the Kebbi State Governor, President Buhari said, an important reason I congratulated Asiwaju on winning the election is because the opposition got support and false hope from outside and went on to create the impression that they will defeat us. How more wrong could anyone be, he asked. The president therefore charged the progressive governors to stick together and openly address issues amongst themselves courageously. This, he said, is the best way to survive politically in Nigeria.
We equally thank him and congratulated him that the world is acknowledging his role, particularly in ensuring that elections took place successfully in Nigeria, even in spite of what is happening around the region, and to thank him for his management of the economy, that despite all the challenges, states that were hitherto not paying salaries are paying salaries and are even investing in infrastructure.
This is the first formal engagement between the president and the APC governors since the conduct of the last general elections.
Meanwhile, the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also met members of the Progressive Governors Forum in a series of consultations.
So, it was the turn of progressive governors to talk through the incoming dispensation with the incoming president. And after the meeting, the governors are hopeful of a cordial relationship with the national government.
APC is one big family, and today we are rallying around our president-elect, and he is leading the way.
The agenda of the Governors Forum is to ensure that we key into the vision of the incoming president.
He has a responsibility to deliver, and we don't want him to blame anybody why he couldn't deliver. So everything that he will require that will enable him deliver to his promises during campaign, we will always support that.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu has offered renewed hope for the nation, and I believe we will see more of it.
Meanwhile, the United Kingdom says it will avail Nigeria all its expertise and technical support towards a hitch-free transition to the next administration. Development Director, United Kingdom Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office in Nigeria, Christopher Peacroft, stated this during a collaborative visit to the Presidential Transition Council in Abuja.
The Presidential Transition Council has a huge task to institutionalize and add value to the transition from the present to the next administration. The Council is attracting global expertise to deepen the transition process and define the agenda for the next administration to improve on the legacies of the Buhari administration. The United Kingdom attaches great importance to Nigeria's transition process and is ready to offer expertise.
There are many areas that we can provide support and access to world-class expertise that you can draw on without fear or favour. And I want to make it clear that you are not alone. Nigeria has huge goodwill around the world, not least with the UK, and we stand ready to provide you with support with this momentous task that you face.
Nigeria says it welcomes global assistance towards a sustainable transition process, especially at the national and subnational levels.
On behalf of the incoming administration, I also want to appreciate the hand of support you have extended in accessing and providing all the necessary support, resources, expertise in any sector they may need, because one, they will need that support. Two, that support will build on whatever it is they are receiving from the current administration.
There is consensus that the success of the transition program will be beneficial to relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
Now, the push and pull over the next occupant of Lugard House, which is the Kogi State Government House, is not letting up in the APC and other parties. The waves triggered by this confluence of ambitions has kept the party faithful, clans and aspirants on the tenterhooks. Senator representing Kogi West and governorship aspirant of the APC, Senator Smart Adeyemi, joins us today. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure being here.
And we're also being joined by Prince Shuaibu Abubakar Audu, another APC governorship aspirant. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, I thought a winner was declared after the primaries, Usman Ododo. Are you guys on the same page? Let me start from Senator Adeyemi.
Well, in law, we say you cannot put something on nothing. So in the first instance, there was no election at all. What they did was a betrayal, was a mockery of democracy. It was a betrayal of those who fought for the emergence of democratic rule in this country. It was a betrayal of people like M.K. Abiola, who laid his life in order for us to enjoy democracy. Unfortunately, some people have forgotten that some people died in the process, and I will equally commend my colleagues in the media, journalists, who fought for the enthronement of democracy. So what they did in Kogi was not election. What they did was to force some people to step down, and they complied. In my central district, I happen to be the only one in the race now. You know, out of 18 of us, I think only...
How can we say you are in the race when they said the process was concluded and they say a winner?
Well, don't forget that there are processes of declaring a winner. If those processes are not followed, it means there was no election in the first instance. The purported primary election was conducted in the residence of local government chairman, where we were waiting with our supporters across the state. There was no voting. None of us, including my colleague here, voted. So how can you say there was an election when those of us who are contesting never voted?
All right, Prince Tribal, you need to come in here because we have two different central districts. Did you have the same experience? So what is your grasp?
Yes, I'm from Kogi East. Kogi East, we're about 55 to 60% of the voting population in Kogi State. I was at my polling booth from 8 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. at the closure of the voting time. No election materials were provided, no election officials, no voting was done.
Let me cut you short a little. You didn't vote for yourself?
No, I didn't vote for myself. And none of the other aspirants that were standing for the governorship election also voted for themselves.
Okay. Let me ask, what is happening at the moment? Are you in court or what?
Yes, we're in court. I filed my court case a couple of days ago at the Federal High Court in Abuja, so that the purported primary election that was done should be cancelled with immediate effect, and a new election done in accordance with the principles and the policies of the APC Constitution should be reconducted.
All right, we would be hearing also from Kogi APC, but let's hear from you. We've moved on since you said this processes are in court, so let's leave that. But let's go to your personal issues and ambitions. You have come here a couple of weeks ago talking about your turn. In terms of is that one of the major grouses? Because in terms of, do you think you are being fenced away from the mainstream in your state?
Don't forget that I'm still a serving senator. Effort was made to push me out of the Senate. Calculated attempt by the powers that be in Kogi State, because at that time they assumed that I'd be too powerful for them to stop if I had to go back for the 4th term in the Senate. But they got it all wrong. The more reason why I'm putting all the vigor, the more reason why the people of Kogi West are now aware that there was a calculated attempt to put Kogi West down, so that at the national level we will not have anybody to speak for us, and at the state we will not have anybody to speak up for us. We are not slaves. During the Sardowna era, we have been part of those who have been governing the northern region. And it was in the wisdom of the governors of the northern state that came together and said that power should shift toward the south. That explains why it was much easier for us to have a candidate emerging from the southern Nigeria. In essence, there must be fairness. If you want peace, if you want a political entity to develop, you must be fair to the other person. Since the creation of Kogi State, we have never been allowed to govern the state from west. We are not slaves. And I want to say here that the leaders of the northern region must know that Kogi West is part of the north. Except if you are saying we are not part of the north. If we are part of the north, whatsoever is good for central must be good for west, must be good for east. But in a situation where my people want to be submerged and oppressed, we are going to resist it with all vigor. We are not going to stop.
Right, Senator,
we will go to the extent of mobilizing the people. If there's a need for a civil disobedience, we will do that. Our people are not slaves. We have not been conquered. Let the people in Lokoja get to know. We are not going to take it at all. We are not slaves.
Senator, you have had the floor. Let's Kogi West, now Kogi East. You have ruled the state for about 16 or 17 years. So, but what is perhaps your ambition on the table, and why do you think you at the moment you should also be on the table?
Yes, I'm running for governor of Kogi State, and I represent Kogi East Senatorial District, which is the Igalas. Like I mentioned, we're about 55–60% of the vote.
That's not correct.
Let him land, please. He allowed you to land as well, Senator.
In principle, I support, there has to be equity, justice, and fairness across Kogi State and across Nigeria as a whole. And I believe the President of the Federal Republic, the President-elect, the Vice President, and the Vice President-elect are fully in support of equity, justice, and fairness. But just to track back a little bit on the equity, justice, and fairness, in 2015, the founding father of the party, Prince Abubakar Audu, who's also my dad, won the Kogi State governorship elections. After he won the governorship elections, he passed away. And as God would have it, power now shifted from Kogi East to Kogi Central, right? So the reason why I'm contesting is that the mandate that was meant for Kogi East in 2015 has not been served out. So there's also an argument that Kogi East should also serve the tenure of the late leader of the APC party that won the governorship election. However, I think that it's right for all the 3 senatorial districts to also lead
yes,
Kogi
because
State.
Where I'm going is that because if you want to go now, and you've gone 16 or 17 years, and Kogi West is still in the West, but let's wait that. But there's an argument. If you've done 16 years, Kogi Central says, let's do another 16, then we'll come, so that there's equity in terms of numbers. You've done 16. I'm just saying that there's an argument on the table like this. Would you perhaps see any logic in this?
There's no logic in that. In the first instance, let me say here, and I want to concede, that Prince Abubakar Audu was a great leader. He was a just and fair leader. That is his father. But having said so, I'm not here to question why he's contesting. It's a free word. I mean, the Constitution empowers every Nigerian to contest. But you see, politics must be synonymous with morality, with integrity, with fairness, with justice, with equity. Where that is lacking, then you call for anarchy. Because nobody wants to be a second-class citizen. We are from the West. We are part of the northern region. The governors of the northern region came together and said for fairness and justice, they wanted power to move to the south.
That's at the presidential.
At the presidential. Whatsoever made the northern governors, including President Muhammadu Buhari, because the president could as well supported Atiku Abubakar against Asiwaju, but he never did that. He wanted justice, he wanted peace. Whatsoever made the President Muhammadu Buhari, and whatsoever made the northern governors, Mala El-Rufai Atiku Bagudu, all of them, who came together and said the South should produce the next president. That same doctrine, because the same party, must be applicable to Kogi West. And Adamu Abdullahi himself, the chairman of the party, thank God he's still the chairman of the party, they considered that power should go to the South for fairness. Since the creation of the state, we have never been allowed to rule. At the last presidential election, we came second. The Central came last. We were about 30,000 ahead of the West Central District. The East, my brother said they are 40% and 70%. They led the West with about 25,000 votes. So in essence, we are almost equally matched. East is of course more in population, but we are second. So in essence,
what you are saying in essence, you want copy and paste from national to state, which
because the same political party,
it will still be down to the Kogi people to decide this, even irrespective of what has happened at the national level. I must allow you to say a few words before we we round up this segment. This is the scenario. And your party, at least at the state level, what they have said is that the winner has a mind.
The winner has not a mind.
That's what
they have imposed the Auditor General of the local government. The Auditor General.
Yes.
The man wants to
but
funds.
That is the status. That is the status quo, Senator. That's
the cousin of the governor. Is the cousin of the governor. From the same ward, the same unit with the governor.
Senator, you need to let Prince Aldo to say a word. So this is the case. So we have to allow you, to have the final word. Now, at the end of this, for instance, if it is said that you should still allow, perhaps other considerations like he's, agitating for, would you, perhaps answer off and allow, and then maybe come on later, or will you insist that that time you, alluded to? After all, the current government has served it, but would you be insisting on that?
I think two things that I'd like to mention, because that's an important question. The first thing that I want to mention is that I'm a governorship aspirant under our great party, the All Progressives Congress, representing the people of Kogi East, the Igala race. So I have the Igala people behind me, and I'm running to represent that mandate and lead Kogi people in a fair representation to cover Kogi West, Kogi Central, as well as my senatorial district, Kogi East. However, having said that, as a party man, I think if the president-elect or the president was to call a meeting to say that, we should have a conversation, including, the governor of the state to say we should have a conversation, I'm open to having a conversation. What that outcome will be is very difficult for me to say now, because obviously I have leaders that are behind me and that, have urged me to contest. We would sit on the negotiating table, and have a comprehensive discussion, and an outcome would come from that. So I believe, we should have a conversation to clear up the air, and also so that I think the most important thing is to ensure that we create a framework so that we don't lose the general elections. Because right now, the way the primaries was done, when no primaries was held and a candidate emerged, we're at risk of losing the general elections massively. Because I can tell you categorically that the people of Kogi East, the Igala race, which are significantly above 50% of the voting population, are ready to vote against the candidate, which will lead to a massive loss at the general election.
Let's take a pause on that, because we have two conversations, but we'll quickly take that before we come for your closing lines. Ahead of the inauguration of the 10th Assembly, that will allow you to take a breather and perhaps a bottle of water. Ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly and the horse trading on the geopolitical zoning of its leadership, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has made a case for the South-South and the Southeast geopolitical zones.
IPAC calls on all relevant stakeholders to embark on deliberate actions that will help to reconcile, heal, and unite Nigeria.
The Inter-Party Advisory Council believes that zoning the 10th President of the Senate to either the South-South or Southeast geopolitical zone will ensure that every zone of the country was accommodated in the power-sharing equation. IPAC Chairman Yabagisani, on behalf of the Council, also advocated the need for deliberate actions that will help to unite the nation and put to an end the worrying trend of the winner-takes-all syndrome.
We have a precedence in the example of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's PDP government in 1999, when it deliberately zoned the Senate presidency to the southeast, the Speaker to the northwest, the Deputy Speaker to the Deputy Senate President to north central, the Deputy Speaker to south-south. And this ensured that every zone was accommodated in the power sharing equation, which helped to calm frayed nerves and peace throughout the 8 years administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo.
The council appealed to the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to give adequate priority to women and youth in his government.
In the meantime, the Coalition of Civil Society for Peace and Unity of Nigeria says the Southeast should be considered in arriving at the leadership of the Senate for Equity and Fairness.
We hereby advocate that all Progressive Congress and all the opposition political parties and all our newly elected and returning senators should, as a matter of urgency and for the interest of our country, support Senate presidency from the Southeast.
All right, before we go, because time is no longer our friend, we just start up that conversation here. I still have Prince Shuaibu Abubakar Audu here and Senator Smart Adeyemi. Time is not a friend.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the APC. Anyway, your zone has former senator, which is, senator is a senator, Dino Melaye, in the race from your zone. People of Kogi State could also think about that. That is just by the way. But if, for instance, is this agitation personal or in terms of your zone? Because it seems as if this shift also favors you in one way or the other.
It's all about my zone, Kogi West. And the risk there, you have said it, that the PDP, the main opposition party, in their wisdom, had decided to zone the governorship to West, because they know it's our turn. In the Governor's Central District, all the members of the PDP there didn't show the interest. They said it is the time for West. How I wish today Prince Abubakar Audu was alive. How I wish his father is alive. You know why? He would have supported me. Because his father is a man who is just and fair. But in any case...
Is the son supporting you?
Well, he's my friend. I still see his father in him.
But the son is in the race.
It is. But
the son is in the race.
He is in the son.
Okay.
I mean, he's in the race because some people ask him to run. But let me put it this way. If the APC want the party to survive, the governorship should go to West.
All right, very good. So, he's spoken so eloquently about your dad. So now, this is where we are. Final words. What would be your word right now on the status? Very quickly.
I think that I want to call on the leadership of the party, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, the President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Vice President-elect, Kashim Shettima, as well as the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Osibanjo, to look into the crisis that is going on in the APC political party in Kogi State. No elections were held. The results were manufactured. People had cornered the results and basically conjured up numbers. We want that to be cancelled and another election held, or an arrangement and a discussion held with the political leaders
all right,
of the party in Kogi.
All right, that is the case. We had Kogi West, we have Kogi East. Unfortunately, we didn't have Kogi Central, but we'll try and see if we can get that in our subsequent programs. So, is my name. I've had Senator Smart and Prince Shuaibu of the APC in Kogi. Aspirants for Lugard's house, hopefully, later in the year. And of course, you are aspirants for your own progress as well. So play your politics for the greater good. You've been watching Nigeria Nigeria's finest and largest television network, the Nigerian Television Authority, where we give you the best of news, reviews, previews, and interviews. We'll be back again on Tuesday, God willing, with a brighter package. Bye-bye now.